Hello, my name is Lorenzo, and I'm here to answer one of the questions that we often get about TeamsMetrics. That is, what are the queues, some queues that appear when you first log in and that are not queues that are within your system? So let's see what we're talking about. The thing is that, well, I'll show you the screen, so maybe it's easier to understand. So the thing is that when we receive data out of Teams about telephony, we do not only get information about queues, even if historically we built our program around reporting on queues, because we basically get all of the calls that happen between different people, be them on the same tenant, on different tenants, where one of the endpoints is a telephone number, or one of the endpoints is even a different tenant within Teams. So let's see what these items are. We have conferences, direct calls, outbound calls, and voicemails. Let's start from the easiest one, that is outbound. So if we outbound, as you can imagine, is nothing is exactly what it sounds. So basically you can see all of the calls that were made by your agents. So this is the person that actually made the call. This is the person that is receiving the call. As you can see, this is an agent, but this could be a telephone number or whatnot. And you can see how long the call was, and of course you get all the information in where you can see this data is an aggregate. What you also see is lost calls, meaning that this person tried ringing this number, but this number didn't really pick it up. So this happens in this case for telephone calling the PSTN, but of course it could be anything else. You can get, of course, information about area codes. You can get information about the distributions of calls during the day, so how many calls were made in which specific period, how long they were, all this kind of information that you can expect out of TeamsMetrics. The second thing that we are looking at is direct calls. You can now see that here there are two different physical queues, because direct calls are noted on two different physical queues. One is for calls that are answered. Of course, we can see information. These direct calls are basically all of the calls that happen between different endpoints that do not are on the same that are on the same tenant, where at least one of is on the same tenant. So you can go in and see the details. So you can see that this person, that this number called this person, and or this person called this other person. You can see for how long it was. You can see all the details about this call, and you can see the lost calls where somebody tried calling somebody within the tenant, like in this case, but this person did not pick up. Sometimes you see that there is missing information about the destination for the call, but in this case, if you click on the details, you can see typically that there is an IVR, or typically an attendant, that was set and that was reached, and but the call didn't go further. So you can get, of course, information about area codes. You can get information about the daily distributions, the distribution by hour, or everything you can expect out of a Qmetrics report. So the third thing that we are going to see is conferences. Conferences, again, have three virtual queues, but the one you're going to see most is group calls, where these group calls are calls that were made for multiple attendant work conferences. So you're going to typically see them under answer details. You can see the organizer, and interestingly, if you click on the details, you can see not only the duration and all the things, but the presence information of all the people. So we can see, for example, that at 1 minute after this call started, this Donald Carter joined. They were here for 35 minutes, sorry, and we can see when they logged off before the call terminated. So we can see that there were two guests plus the organizer. Sometimes here you can also see telephone numbers if there was somebody that was connected over the PSTN, or we can see unique codes so you don't get the names if it was somebody joining using a link, so without logging into Teams. You can also see if you have people from different tenants, you can also see them here so that they will appear under as guests. So you can also see different people and their names. The last thing I want to show you is voicemails. Voicemails, with again, has no surprises, meaning that it's the voicemails that were left. We can start, for example, by looking at daily distribution. So we can see when the voicemails were left and how many were left. We can see the distribution of length. We can see the distribution of which agents received voicemails. And you can see, of course, the voicemails themselves. So you can see how many calls were left and where they were left, how long they were, all this stuff. Interestingly, you can, if we go look on the variables, sometimes we can get information about stints. So what happened before on this specific call. In this case, for example, we can see that this call was voicemail, that the voicemail was for this Ethan Walker, and but the person who left was this one. But this is the third stint, so this is the third part of a call, and the previous part of this call was a call queue that had this name. So it is also possible to see, you can see the traversal of calls between multiple entities, so auto-attendant, people, call queues, and because of course a call may be transferred during its lifetime. And in the next video, I'm going to show you how to track the same call and see what it happened at its complete journey. Usually in TeamsMetrics, things appear at the queue level because a queue level is usually an environment of responsibilities. So if you are managing a queue, what you care about is what happens since somebody enters the queue and what happens before they leave the queue. But what happens outside is not something you're immediately concerned about. But of course, in TeamsMetrics, you can see things from the point of view of one specific queue or from a general point of view of what happened to all the calls, all the life cycle of this specific call. So if you liked what you saw so far, I invite you to run a test, a free trial of TeamsMetrics by signing up on our website, no strings attached. If you like it and see it's useful, you can keep it. If not, no problem. We believe that you should be satisfied and you should see your own data so that you can really assess whether this is useful for you or not. So thank you for today, and let's see you next time.